kind of an introduction to leash walking. Kind of a start for that. Hi, good. So what I'm working on with Murphy is first just to ignore everything else that's going on in the neighborhood, everything else that's going on around him, and give me eye contact. So I'm looking for eye contact. I'm going to click that. Oh, that's nice. Laying down, settling down, that's nice. Yeah, oops. You looked at me and I forgot to click. Well, that's not ready. I like that. So it's a pretty quiet night out in the neighborhood. There's nothing really going on. I don't see any people or any dogs around. You hear some barking. That's the dogs in the house. Who, of course, Murphy knows. He's been playing with them. So they think they're about to go play. So they're very worked up. But while we're out here, what I really just want is for Murphy to kind of acclimate to the environment, see the world, smell the world. I like to start a leash walking session just by doing this, just sitting out on the porch, let him see the environment that we're about to be walking in, smell the air, feel the wind, see the temperature, all of those things. And can he ignore all of that and pay attention to me? And so what I want is for him to train just as well out here as he does, hi, good boy, as he does in the house. I didn't have my thumb on the clicker that time, but you got a cookie anyway, that's okay. I'm also working with this new harness. I'll show you this in person, but this is really the first time that we've actually worked with it on. So he's getting used to it a little bit, but it does really help him when he starts to pull like he's doing. Yeah? It helps him turn back towards me and not be able to pull so hard. So that's the biggest thing, is I need to be able to control the leash, because you are quite a big dog. I don't know if we noticed. Did we notice? You're quite big and you can pull hard. So while he's distracted like this, I'm just basically kind of ignoring him. Sometimes I might scratch his ear because it's irresistible. Oh, hi. You see, you don't have to give a treat after every click. Sometimes it can just be praise and petting, if that's what he likes. But again, I was saying I'm trying to just basically ignore him, just let him look around. But then when he checks in with me, that's when I give him that reward and become a fun person. When he starts checking with me, I don't want to call his name or cue him to look at me, even though he knows cues to give eye contact at this point. But I don't want to use those because I want to know, wait, is he looking at me because he wants to look at me? And because there's nothing else that he would rather look at? Or is he looking at me because I told him to? And I don't want him just looking at me because I told him to. I want him looking at me because he knows that looking at me is going to get him a good reward. And looking out in the world is boring, isn't it? It's pretty boring. Good boy. We were out here just for a few minutes before I started the camera. And in that few minutes, when we first came out, he was not taking treats, so I would click and offer him a treat, and he just turned his nose away from it. And I know that's kind of a theme with him, is that sometimes he doesn't take treats. In this case, it's not that he doesn't like the treat or doesn't want the treat. It's just that he's got his mind on other things, and he just can't focus enough to take the treat. Yeah. So it's just information for us that means that he's too distracted and kind of overwhelmed. And so if he's overwhelmed, too overwhelmed to eat a treat, then he's definitely too overwhelmed to do a training session. So it's definitely information that says that if we start trying to train him when he's not ready to eat a treat, he's definitely not going to be successful, right? But the longer we sit here and just kind of chill out, the longer we chill out here, the better. the more kind of relaxed in the environment he'll get, and the more he'll be ready for training. I know, I see the neighbors. Very exciting. It's just a car in the driveway, that's all. Good. Touch again? Yeah. So now I'm asking for hand touches because this is a pretty big distraction for him. A person across the street. It's very exciting. And I'm afraid that he might bark. And I don't want him to bark. So we're doing hand touches. And tossing a treat on the ground helps us calm down. Yeah, it does. Sniffing treats out on the ground does help calm them down and settle them down, gives them something to focus on. So that's a good trick we can use with you. Yeah. Or you can just take it out of my hand. What you want? Can you do that? Very good. All right, now the distraction is gone, I believe. So he's doing the hand touches, he's doing eye contact. Can you do one more eye contact? We can try something a little more difficult. Are you getting bored? Maybe. That's one thing that makes him challenging is it's hard to know when he's getting bored and when he needs to be pushed harder. It's very hard. Very hard. So let's try a Zen. Let's make a car. So again, I think he's getting too distracted by what's going on out there, so I'm just trying to hand touch. Just be really clear, as always, with my hand signals. A hand touch is up here. The nose touch is what I want. Yes. So you see I hold my hand vertically for a nose touch. Either the back of your hand or the front of your hand, either way. Oops. Can't do it laying down. Elizabeth, can't do it laying down. Ooh. We just gotta get some wiggles out, huh? Get them up. Good. Good. Okay. Now we can try Zen. What do you think? So again, I'm just showing him the treat. And I want him to make eye contact when there's a treat in front of his nose. Hi! Doggy Zen is, of course, a game that we practiced inside with no distractions first. Actually, we practiced this one in the backyard, didn't we? We did. But you see here, when there's lots of distractions, it's a much more difficult game. We're not able to concentrate. bud. Murphy. Murphy. Hi. Good. Alright. Hey, can you sit? Yes, you can. You're such a good dog. You're so good. Okay, one more zen. Ready? You can do this. I don't know if you can hear those neighbors across the street talking. And so what I'm doing is clicking him for looking over there without barking. Or for the neighbor. So I think he's getting just a little overwhelmed. There's a lot of things going on all at the same time. You hear people talking, dogs barking, new dogs barking. Yeah. All the neighbors came home at the same time and started letting their dogs out in the yard. I think that's what happened, isn't it? Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and go in before he starts barking again, just to prevent that from becoming a habit. Yeah. We're going to go in. We're going to go outside and potty. How about that? Yeah. All right.